Today we're going to talk about unit rate. Remember, when you set up unit rate, you want to set up a proportion dealing with, in this example, $306 in 60 gallons. $306 money goes in the numerator, and that's for 60 gallons. You want to find out how much money you're spending for 1 gallon. Remember, order matters, so if you have money on top in the numerator for the first fraction, you need money in the numerator for the second fraction. You want to do the butterfly method, which simply means you multiply the denominator of the first fraction times the numerator of the second fraction. So you get 60 times x, which is 60x, equals, now you create the second wing by multiplying the numerator of the first fraction times the denominator of the second fraction. 306 times 1 is 306. You notice now you have a one-step equation. Draw your line. And you want to do the inverse operation, so it's 60 times x. So you want to divide each side by 60. And you're going to get 5.1. So remember, these are proportions. You're finding a unit rate, so when you write your final answer, you want to state that it's $5.10. You have to tack on that 0, and that's going to be for 1 gallon. Circle your final answer. We're going to do the left column together. In the next column it says, or the next problem says 72 apples for 12 people. Reading left to right, my 72 apples is going to go in the numerator. 12 people is going to go in the denominator. So then it wants to know how many apples for one person. So you do your butterfly method. 72 times 1 is 72. 12 times x is 12x. You have a one-step equation. Divide each side by 12. 72 divided by 12 is 6. This is not your final answer. You need to write your statement that you're getting 6 apples per person. Circle your final answer. If a gear revolved 960 times in 30 minutes, how many revolutions happen in 1 minute? Okay, so same thing. Left to right, 960 came first. So 960 times every 30 minutes. So how many times for 1 minute? You notice that revolutions is on top, minutes is on the bottom. 960 times 1 is 960. 30 times x is 30x. You have a one-step equation you need to solve. So you get x equals 32. That is not your final answer. Write out your statement. 32 revolutions, that's per minute. Circle your final answer. Pause the video, try the right side. Check your answers. If you have any questions, ask your teacher. Let's look at the bottom of the page. When comparing answers, between two deals. For example, if you have 84 ounces of liquid detergent for $10.64, or you have 48 ounces of liquid detergent for $5.89, the only way to figure out which one is the better offer is to figure out how much you're spending per ounce. So that's where unit rate comes in. So when I set this up, remember, money goes in the numerator. So I'm going to say $10.64, and I'm going to divide that by 84. And you want to say, how much is that for 1 ounce? So you have money in the numerator, ounces in the denominator. Money in the numerator, ounces in the denominator. And that's where you do your butterfly method. You get 84 times x equals $10.64. When you solve this, you divide each side by 84, and you're going to get x equals 13 hundredths. Remember, it's money, so it's going to be 13 hundredths, or 13 cents per ounce. Where over here, I'm paying $5.89 for 48 ounces. How much money are you spending for 1 ounce? You set up your problem. And you're gonna figure out that you're paying $1.12 per ounce. So although you're spending $10.64 or $10.64, you're actually getting the better deal at store A because you're spending less per ounce. Let's do one more together. Same situation here. It's 900 square feet of lawn for $11.99. So you want to know how much it is for 1 square foot. So you set up your problem using the butterfly method, and you solve, and you get that it's 1 cent for every dollar for every square foot. And then in store B, you have 1,250 square feet of lawn for $25.99. So you're going to say $25.99 for 1,250 square feet. How much money is it for 1 square foot? Set up your problem. Divide each side. And you're going to get that it's 2 cents per square foot. So the better deal here is going to be store A because you're only spending 1 cent per square foot. Pause the video and try the next two. Check your answers with the following problems. Remember in the bottom left where it's 100 sheets of computer paper for $8.95, when you divide it, you end up getting 0.089. You are dealing with money, so you need to round to the nearest hundredth place. So that's why this 9 bumps the 8 up, and you get 9 cents per sheet, where over in store B, you get 8 cents per sheet. Turn the page. Now let's talk about percent proportion. Something you need to remember for percent proportion is the phrase is over of equals percent over 100. It'll help you create your proportion each time. For example, what number is 40% of 120? Is goes with what number? Of is 120. You could also look at it as part over whole equals percent over 100. So you're trying to figure out what part of 120 is going to be 40%. And your percent is out of 100. So now I do the butterfly method, same as I've been doing, and solve. X times 100 is 100x. 40 times 120 is 4,800. I have a one-step equation, so I solve. So 48 is 40% of 120. Let's look at the next problem. 18 is, so you're going to put that right here in your numerator, 25%, so that's your percent, of what number? So you don't know what number, so your of is going to be x. So 18 is, you have your 25% of what number? So your what number is represented with an x. So do your butterfly method, you get 25x equals 1800. You have a one-step equation. So you want to divide each side by 25 since that's your coefficient of x. So x is going to equal 72. So 18 is 25% of 72. 18 is your part, 72 is your whole. What percent? So you don't know what percent of 60, so of is your whole, is 15. 15 is your part. Do your butterfly method, you get 60x equals 1500. You have a one-step equation, so let's divide each side by 60, and you get 25. Now remember, this is 25% because you're looking at what percent. For number 4, gives you 12.5%, so that's going to be 12.5 over 100 of 192, so that's your whole, is what number? That's your part. So you're going to get 100x equals, when you multiply these two together, get 2400. One-step equation, divide each side by 100, and you get 24. So 24 is 12.5% of 192. Let's look at the word problems. David is installing a device on his car that guarantees an increase in his gas mileage by 15%. So you know your percentage. So it's going to be 15 out of 100. He currently gets 22 miles per gallon. How much will the gas mileage increase after installing the device? So the 22 miles per gallon, that's your whole. And you're trying to figure out what the increase is after installing the device. So now you do your butterfly. X times 100 is 100x. 22 times 15 should be 330. Divide each side by 100 because it's a one-step equation. And you get 3.3. Now this is a word problem, so you need your statement. So it's going to be 3.3 miles And that's going to be per gallon increased. Circle your final answer. Once you pause the video and try the last one. It says a paperback book originally priced at $12.50 is on sale for $7.50. What percent of the original cost is the sale price? So you don't know the percent, so that's going to be X over 100. And you have part over whole. So you have $7.50 is going to be the numerator, and your $12.50 is going to be your denominator. Once you do your butterfly method and solve, you get 60. Remember, this is a percent. You need to have that as your answer. Ask your teacher if you have any questions.